normally. So I do want to take a few moments to just talk about different ways that we can support our hormone health. And again, this is not just for women, this is for men and women. There's a lot of things that we can all do to make sure that we're regulating our bodies correctly. Again, regulating our sleep, regulating our metabolism, regulating our body temperature, and of course, all those male and female specific hormone related things too. But before I talk about the different ways, I want to talk about, how are hormones developed in our bodies? So hormones are actually made from cholesterol. And we hear a lot about cholesterol because, bad cholesterol, we don't want our cholesterol levels to be too high. We want our good cholesterol to be high, but we don't want the bad cholesterol to be high. So there's different types of cholesterol. There's dietary cholesterol, and then there's also blood cholesterol. And those are two very different things. So dietary cholesterol is what's going to be that precursor to the production of your hormones. And then we have our blood cholesterol, which is influenced by the types of fats that we eat and the fiber that we eat in our diet. So it's very confusing, the fact that they both have cholesterol in the name, but they do two very different things. And whenever you hear them, it's like, oh, my cholesterol is high, I shouldn't eat cholesterol-rich foods, but that's not necessarily true. We do need the dietary cholesterol to support our hormones. And that's going to be found in fats, but mostly, we want to, of course, focus on the healthy fat sources, so that we keep our blood cholesterol levels, in those normal ranges. So we want to keep the good cholesterol up, the bad cholesterol down. And just to give you a few food examples of what those, healthful fats would be that can support your good blood cholesterol levels, but also supply that dietary cholesterol. I know this is very confusing. So we're talking about fatty fish like salmon and tuna, sardines, avocados are a great source, nuts and seeds. Any of your oils that are liquid at room temperature are going to be good. Those kind of cover the bases in terms of, how to get those healthy fats, but also some of that dietary cholesterol as well. So we want to make sure we're eating foods so that our body can produce it. We also want to make sure we're eating enough food. So we want to make sure, I've met with a lot of different people over the years in my time working as a dietitian. And it used to be that people were overeating, but now there's kind of this trend where, women especially, I will say, feel like they can't eat too many calories, or they tend to overestimate how many calories they're eating because all they hear is, I need to focus on my calories and I shouldn't be eating too many calories. So as a result, they don't take in enough food, and that can really hurt your metabolism and your hormone health, because if we're not eating enough, we're not going to be able to produce those hormones. We're not going to be able to have a healthy metabolism. So you want to make sure you're eating an appropriate amount of food for your body, for your activity level, to support your metabolism so that your body can run effectively. So that's number one. Number two, we want to make sure we're eating foods that do promote that boost in metabolism. So protein-rich foods are so, so important, especially with your first meal of the day. So, if you're not a big breakfast eater, that's okay. Of course, eggs are going to be a good protein-rich breakfast choice. Greek yogurt, Icelandic style yogurt, those are all protein-rich things to eat in the morning. Milk, if you're a milk drinker. But, we don't have to have traditional breakfast proteins in the morning. You can have any kind of protein. We just want to make sure that you're getting some form of protein to kick off your first meal of the day and really kickstart that metabolism. And then ideally, we would want to have a protein-rich food with every meal to keep the metabolism going throughout the day as well. So the first two things are make sure I guess the first three things, make sure you're getting the cholesterol in your diet. Make sure you're eating enough. Make sure you're eating protein-rich foods. Another thing to keep in mind is hydration, Fiji water. Make sure you're keeping your body hydrated. That's going to be really important to regulate everything, your metabolism, your body temperature. So make sure you get your Fiji water or whatever kind of water you like to drink. Although I do personally prefer Fiji water. There's just something about it. So staying hydrated, that's number 4. Number 5 is trying to move and be active throughout the day. Now, if you're not into exercise, that's okay. We just want you to move in some capacity. So it could just be getting up and standing for a minute every hour. It could be using a standing desk. It could be, taking a lap around the building every hour, or it could just be as simple as going for a walk every afternoon. Or if you're already doing that, adding another walk somewhere else in the day. So being active, ideally throughout the day, is really going to also be important for that as well. And then the last thing I want to just mention, now that we've had daylight savings, the days are a little bit longer. Sun exposure is also really important for regulating our hormones and regulating our metabolism. So ideally within the first hour of being awake, we want to try and get some form of light exposure. So the sun is the best way to get it. If you can get outside, that's ideal. If you can't get outside, try and stand by a window or, open up all the curtains and just let that light in so that your body can, be in the light for like 10 to 15 minutes at the start of the day. If you don't have that as an option, you could also just turn all the lights on in your house and make sure that the lights are really bright. But getting a little bit of that UV is going to be really important and ideal. So if you can get the sun exposure, that's the best way to do it. So to start the day, and then, hopefully at some point throughout the day, you'll get a little sunshine on your skin too. And it's also really beneficial to watch the sunset in the evening, as weird as that sounds. But, our body, and you've probably heard of melatonin before. So melatonin is what makes us feel sleepy at night and what makes us stay asleep. So the act of actually watching the sun go down and watching it get darker helps our body start to release that melatonin so that you're going to sleep better and you're going to feel energized throughout the day. So those are really the keys. We want to eat, the right fats that have the cholesterol. We want to make sure we're eating enough. We want to make sure we're eating a lot of protein, staying hydrated, being active, and then getting that sun exposure.
So, Becca, this is really interesting because I heard you say a number of things that were really powerful. And of course, I got a couple of communications very quickly and asking about foods and I'm saying, I knew you would get to them, and you did. So one of the things we have to recognize is how important the information Becca is giving us is going to have an impact on our health and wellness. You mentioned about breakfast. So how do you feel about protein shakes in the first thing in the morning?
Sure. If that's, what you have time to prepare, that is completely fine. I'm always hesitant to say this is good or this is bad because we have to find what works for us, and what works for you or what works for me, it might be completely different than what works for someone else. So
Okay.
if that is how you can get your protein in first thing in the morning, that is perfectly fine.
Now, I have to admit, I love eggs and turkey bacon for breakfast in the morning.
Uh-huh.
However, I don't always have time. Sometimes I drink a protein shake and I eat eggs and turkey bacon.
Hey, you're getting lots of protein to start
But
the
if
day
I
then.
don't have time, then it always the protein shake is always a good method to get that in. And now, because none of us have an excuse because of the season that we're now entering, being spring, of course, none of us have any. We're not walking in 3 inches of snow. So, as Becca indicated, we should be getting out, getting some exercise. I ran 2.2 miles yesterday,
All
and
right.
and I am really encouraging everyone to pay attention to what Becca, write down the information, because the information she's giving us is going to help us all stay healthy and well. And so, Becca, would you share with our listeners and viewers, because someone wanted to know, what do you eat first thing in the morning?
So my go-to lately, because I've got a lot going on nowadays with the new
Uh-huh.
baby and everything.
And remind everyone why.
Yes, I've got a 5-month-old baby, Naomi. So she keeps me very busy on top of my, full-time job and, all my normal life stuff going on.
She's
But what I
absolutely
found
adorable.
that works for me that I really enjoy, and it's kind of a no-brainer, I just know to buy the same things every week. I start my day off with an Icelandic style yogurt. So it's similar to Greek yogurt, but it's very high in protein and low in added sugar. Whereas a lot of those Greek yogurts have added sugar. The Icelandic style or the skyr, it just has really low added sugar. I don't know how they do it, but it tastes
Okay.
great. So I
And
have that. I mix in chia seeds and flax seeds. So those add fiber and lots of healthy fats and that good dietary cholesterol.
okay.
And then I usually mix in peanut butter for a little extra protein and just
Mhm,
because I love the taste of peanut butter. So
mhm.
I do that if I have vanilla yogurt. If I have the key lime, I just stick with the seeds.
Okay.
And then I'll have granola with that and fresh fruit or a
So,
piece of toast. So
so I
depends
know
on
this isn't
what.
one of our sponsors, but where do you purchase your Icelandic yogurt?
You can get it at any grocery store. So Giant usually has the best price on it. Trader Joe's has an excellent price on it, but they
Mhm.
carry it at Acme, IGA, like most of the local stores will have it.
So did everyone notice that Becca not only gave us good information, but she also gave us pricing, told us where you can get the best pricing on it. So
Yeah.
all of these things are going to be important for all of us. And someone wanted to know what you eat for breakfast in the morning. So thank you for sharing that. Throughout the day, how many times do you eat, David?
Oh gosh. Well, today it would be constantly. I've been snacking all morning. But typically, I'll have breakfast, I'll have a mid-morning snack, I'll have lunch, afternoon snack, maybe a second afternoon snack, and then dinner.
Okay.
So I eat a
Yeah,
lot.
well, and that's a good thing because you need that to keep up your strength because you have baby Naomi now. So,
Yep.
and you have to do that. Are you back to working out?
Yes.
Okay.
So my schedule's very different now. So I
Mhm.
only have time to work out really like 2 to 3 days a week. Which, it's still great. It's
Yeah,
just a lot different than what I had been doing before. But I've really learned to appreciate my workout time, which
right. Well,
is
I know you were still working out, but I just wanted to know if you were back to your normal routine because that's what one of our listeners and viewers were curious about. Because you mentioned movement, you mentioned just continuing to move and being active, for lack of a better term,
yeah.
throughout the day. And you made a very interesting comment, and that was just getting up and moving, even if you're working during the course of the day. You just have to continue some movement. Now, all of us should be getting to the point now, because Becca has been with us for so long. You all should be at a point now where even during the winter in our region, if nothing else, you're doing floor exercises, even if you don't go outside and run or you're not outside walking. But now is the time, because it's now April, now is the time for us to really get engaged in exercise, walking, running, playing tennis if you play tennis, playing golf if you play golf, anything that can give us some exercise. Because one of the things Becca is telling us is that movement is going to be crucial for us as we continue to, for our hormones and our metabolism and all of those things. So that's real important. And I'm just going to take one break to do a little bit of business with our sponsor, and then Becca's going to share some more information for us. As you know, every broadcast is brought to you by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, and it begins as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. So, Becca, we all know this is Earth's finest water, and you and I both love Fiji Water. But hydration is going to be critically important for everyone. So, whatever type of water, and we encourage you to drink Fiji, whatever type of water you're going to drink, you've got to stay hydrated. And that's why Fiji Water is our sponsor for the broadcast. But let's talk about how important it is, Becca, that now that we're really amping up our workouts, everyone should agree with that. how important is that hydration, and how much water should we be consuming every single day?
So ideally, we want to get at least the 64, 8 cups of water per day. So 64 ounces is what that is. But if it's summertime, if you're doing exercise where you're sweating a lot and you're sweating through your clothing, you're going to need more. And it's difficult to say exactly how much without knowing what everybody is specifically doing. There's different, of course, disease states that can influence your fluid needs too. Body weight can influence fluid needs. So it is very individualized. But I've heard you use Pastor Pope, half your body weight in water. That's a good number to go off of, just as a guide.
Yes. So, and I will tell you, I have been really focused on not only my hydration, but just, making certain I maintain my weight now, because I've got my weight down further. And I think hydration, rest is really crucial. Trying to make certain that I get 8 hours of sleep every night. Tell us what sleep does for our metabolism and for our hormones also, Becca, if you will.
Definitely. So, well, melatonin is a hormone, so that helps control your sleep. So if you're not eating enough, you're not hydrating, you're not doing that normal activity, you could potentially be impacting your sleep quality. And our sleep quality, again, it's one of these chicken or the egg things. It's, that also has something to do with your hormones, or your metabolism. I'm sorry. So if you're not sleeping, you're more likely to overeat. You're more likely to make bad choices when it comes to food. You're more likely to go for those like sugary junk food options because your body is craving quick energy because it didn't get the energy it needed from sleep. So, and there's a whole lot of other ways too, but those are going to be the main things. And of course, your brain function is going to be impacted if you're not sleeping enough, your memory. There's so many reasons why we need to be getting enough rest when it comes to sleep. And also I want to just shout out like exercise. It's important to, do our exercises and put our body under stress, but we need to also incorporate rest days from exercise too, because whenever we're continually stressing our bodies over and over, that can also have an effect on things. And we need to give our bodies a chance to come down from that physical stress and rest to recover, so that your body can get stronger.
And that's very interesting that you made that point. Two things that I've noticed, and that is that as I get older, so I can't run every day now. I can only run, and it was that I could run once upon a time. I went from running every day to running every other day. Now I find I have to pick and choose. I may have to wait a third day before I run. Now, I don't know if that's good or bad, but I might
Well,
have.
honestly, at any age, we should be probably doing more so like every other or every third day. Our bodies just are able to recover a little bit faster when we're younger, so we don't feel the effects as much. But if your body's telling you it needs rest, you should definitely listen to it.
Yes, because the hammies get a little sore, and that kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, if I run on Thursday, I should be able to run again on Saturday. But then sometimes it turns out I'm like, you know what? I might have to wait till Sunday afternoon and run.
Yeah. Well, and that's why cross training is great. So we want to do different forms of exercise. We want to do that cardiovascular fitness, but we also want to incorporate weightlifting. We want to do stretching, maybe something like yoga, core focus, like Pilates. So we want to do all those different types of things. So if you want to work out every day, you can. We just want to not do such high intensity exercise every single day.
Right. And I should correct myself. So I work out every day except I take one day off from working out, but I run. As far as my runs are concerned, it's either every other day or maybe it might take that extra day. But and this is what I want us to continue to encourage our listeners and viewers to do, because if nothing else, if I don't go to the gym, I'm at least doing push-ups, maybe some 6 inches, that kind of thing. Then of course, I'm constantly moving as I go around our church complex, but The idea is, as Becca said, is just to make sure that everyone is keeping our body in motion. It's going to have an impact on our health and wellness in totality. But as Becca was talking about our hormones today, men don't think about, and I know all you men out there that are tuned in, we don't always think about hormones. We think more about women having more hormonal changes, particularly when they become pregnant or after childbirth, those kinds of things. But as Becca pointed out to us, we have to think about those things also because we still have hormones also. So it's important for all of us to really focus on the things that Becca is sharing with us to continue to enhance our health and wellness. And spring's going to go by very fast. So Becca, do you have recommendations for everyone as the temperature gets warmer, even in our area, and we go into summer? I know you'll be back with us next month, of course, and you'll keep us enlightened on what we should be doing ongoing. But any transitional thoughts that you want to share with our listeners and viewers as we go from spring into summer?
Yeah, definitely. So of course, stay hydrated. So make sure you're not only drinking enough water, but also if you are doing exercising or manual labor where you're sweating a lot, we want to get those electrolytes in too. And then use those seasonal produce is great. I mean, there's so many different things that are in season in spring and summer. So, look at what's on sale at the grocery store. That tends to be the in-season produce, farmers markets, Amish markets in the area, those are all great places to go for that fresh in-season produce. There is also food co-ops and CSAs you can be a part of where you might do like an annual subscription and you can get a box of food every week that is just whatever they have available that's in season. So those are great ways to not only get that in-season produce, but support local farmers and local markets too.
Excellent, excellent. So fruits, vegetables, of course, working out. Summer's going to be a blast for all of us. We had quite a bit of cold weather here in our region for the winter. So looking forward to spring, and that's the reason, as I said, yesterday I had to get out and get a run in. And Becca made a very good point also. Not all of your points are good, Becca, but one of the things that you mentioned is sleep quality. And I had just had a conversation with my wife regarding the fact that yesterday when I came back from my run, took another shower, and I worked at home the rest of the day. And I said, I actually got out about, I guess it was about 2 o'clock yesterday for my run. And I said to my wife, I said, I can immediately tell that last night I was going to I sleep well anyway, but when I run, I literally feel my body shutting down to the point where I get so much more rest.
Yes. Yes.
So I think any exercise, whether you walk or whether you run, it's going to be real important because it will help our sleep quality. Now, Becca, let's, if you will, share with our listeners and viewers, are you back to running yet, or what's your...
I actually just started back to running a few weeks ago. So especially now that the weather is so nice, I've been trying to sneak out every time I can. It's very different. I'm definitely not running 26 miles anytime soon. I'm kind of just sticking to like 2 or 3 miles lately. But it feels great to get back outside. I'm really happy about it.
And of course, as Becca mentioned, in our region, we have to, during the winter, we have to pick those days. Now, you may be willing to go out a little sooner than I, but if I can sneak a day that's over 50 in the winter, I'll take advantage of it. Yesterday was really a nice day. We're having a little inclement rain here today, but yesterday, the last few days of this week have been really nice days. So it's been good to be able to just get out, but you are back to running. So, what other outdoor exercises are you going to be doing for the spring?
So I walk my dog every day, twice a day at least. So, I don't think of that as exercise, but it is exercise. So definitely doing lots more dog walks.
And are you walking him or is he walking you?
A little bit of both. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Definitely running more. And I have a roof deck, so I love to actually just go out on the roof deck and do yoga up there during the summer. It's like a little heated yoga class for myself.
Nice.
I get that sun exposure.
There
So
you
two
go.
birds, one stone.
And that's going to be real important. So for those who aren't getting enough sun, Becca, how do you feel about, and do you recommend any particular D3 vitamins?
So yeah, I mean, over the winter, of course, it's good to take vitamin D, or vitamin D3, or in the summer, if you don't get outside very often, that can be a good idea too. Now, you're not necessarily going to get the same hormonal benefit from the vitamin D supplement, but you'll still, help normalize your blood levels of vitamin D, which is important, of course. And I recommend anything that is USP verified. That's a third party that inspects and makes sure that the products contain what they claim to contain, because the supplement industry is not regulated. So if somebody's going through that third party inspection, you can believe it's a good product.
Excellent, excellent. So this is really good. We're going to focus on our hormones this month and making certain, and I had to ask Becca if she would mind coming on the second Friday this month instead of the first Friday because of scheduling issues that I had and so forth. But Becca, is there anything that you want to share with us that you want us to focus on for the remainder of this month? So one of the things I'm going to be asking Becca continuously every month is what we need to focus on in addition to what she shared with us so far. Is there anything else you want us to focus on as we go through the remainder of this month?
Oh, that's a tough one. How about just getting outside for at least 5 minutes a day?
Okay. So let's all focus on doing that because here's what we're going to do. We're going to document each and every one of us, all of our listeners and viewers, wherever you are across the US, wherever you are around the globe. We're going to document the changes that occur in us by doing just that, getting out every single day. Share with us how you feel, how it's made you feel. Are you feeling better by the end of the month? And then as you continue to develop that routine, let us know what the changes are that are occurring so we can monitor how we're improving in our health and wellness, because Becca really is continuously giving us information that is really going to make us all better. I know it's made me better. So thank you, Becca, for all that you share with all of our listeners and viewers. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door as you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Becca, say goodbye to all of our listeners and viewers. And as always, you can go to Becca's website at BeccaTheDietitian.com. You can get some information on health and wellness. She shares so much information. And Becca, would you also share with our listeners and viewers the insurances that you take now?
Sure. So I do accept all major insurances: Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, United Healthcare. I might be missing one, but those are the main ones.
That's okay, because wherever you are across the US, yes, you have any of those insurances, you can contact us. We'll make sure you get in touch with Becca so that we can all enhance our health and wellness. Have a great day today. We look forward to seeing you again right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. Thank you, Becca. Have a great day.